So the next tool here is the scale. So how do you scale objects? Let's bring this object here, the one that we just rotated now. Let's move it into the box so that the result of the scale will be significant. So how do you scale objects? So let me hint you, what this tool generally does is that it enlarges or reduces an object based on a scale factor. So how do you achieve that? You will select the object and then click on the scale tool. So once the scale tool is selected, then you specify a base point. A base point is assumed to be the center of the object. Wherever, if you set it, if you click on the center, you're on the right track. So click on the center to specify the base point and then enter a scale factor. A scale factor more than 1 enlarges the object, and the scale factor less than, or a scale factor between 0 and 1 reduces the size. So to increase the size, you will have to type 1 point, let's say 1.8. By the time you press the enter key, this is the scale factor larger than 1, so it will increase the size. So you press the enter key, you can see the size is reduced. So let's undo that and repeat the same again, but using a scale factor that is between 0 and 1. So let's select the object and click on the scale to specify a base point. This time around we're going to type 0.5, which is expected to shrink that by 50% or so. You press the enter key and you have the result instant. So that's how the scale tool works. So let's quickly look at the trim tool. The trim tool, as the name implies, trims the objects that intersect. When objects intersect, the trim tool is a perfect way to trim them. So to make use of that, you click on it and press the enter key to activate the tool, and once the tool is activated, then just go ahead and click an intersected line. For this line has intersected with this one, so you can trim it. Like this one too is intersecting, so it can be trimmed. This one here can be trimmed as well, and because it's intersecting, you can continue to trim them like that, and all the lines here are intersecting. But let's trim this, and then you have this one not intersecting at all, because it's not intersecting, it's only joining with this. If only it crosses to the other side, then it's also intersecting, but this particular line is not intersecting, so it cannot be trimmed. Such lines, we'll call them stubborn lines, so you can escape the command and select them and press the delete key on your keyboard. So the opposite of trim is extend. So while you're trimming and you need a quick command like extend, all you need to do is just hold down your shift key and press something like this so that it will extend to the next line. So that is quite interesting. You trim and then extend as well using one action of the tool, just trim, so that's how it works. And if you are using the extend, you can do the same. You can hold down the shift key and trim your object. While you extend, you can hold down the shift key and trim your object. So they work both. In fact, it's an opposite. Extend and trim, they work together. So that's how you make use of trim and extend. So break at a point, the command here, break at a point, very useful tool. You can use this to break an object. Infinite objects can be bricked, lines can be bricked, walls, whatever can be bricked. So how do you apply that tool? You select the tool and then select the object, the brick, select the object, target object. So maybe we are targeting this particular line here. Let's zoom it closer. We are targeting this particular line here, so you select it, and then the next point you specify is the break point. So maybe I want to break it just up here a little bit. I'll specify that. So this line has been broken now. The only way to note that is when you select part of the line, you will see that the line actually terminates here, but initially it was a full line. So that's how you make use of break line. So there's another one here, is the break. This one is not break at point like this one is generally break. So this one breaks with an opening. As the pictorial view you see here, it breaks with an opening. So it is very useful during wall creation, during walling your design. You can use it. So let's use is an example here how it works. So you select the object, the tool, and select the target object. Mind you, we're selecting this one. So I want a break space, somewhere, open a space here. So I will specify the point. So I hope you understand the logic that has taken place here. Okay, let's break the next one here too. Click the break tool and then select the point you're selecting is the start point for the break, the first break point. Mind you, you're not just selecting the object. Where you first select is the start point for the break point. So select that. We have just selected here, and the next point here is going to be the opening. So we selected here, and that was the break point, and then we select the next place, it's the opening point. So we now open this space. So that's how you make use of the break point. So now the break object. So next is the join. Another useful tool. You have lines being broken or sometimes trimmed off, you don't know what to do. The next thing is the join. You make use of join tool to join such lines. For example, you have two lines, have this line like so, it will join them together. It's two breakable lines or two trimmed lines, it can join them together. But mind you, it cannot join breakable lines. The lines that are intentionally bricked with the break tool or break at point, the lines that are bricked with these tools can never be joined. So you don't have to waste that time. They can only join lines that are created natively by you. So I've just created this one and I'm copying it aside to show you how the tool will work. So to join a line, you will simply click the line, click the join tool, select the first line and then select the second line. By the time you press the enter key, you will see that the lines will be joined, and the line must be parallel to each other, for it to join. So using the chamfer tool, mouse over to the chamfer tool here and click. So you're asked to select first line, but then you need to do some modifications. You have a list of options here like undo, polyline, distance, angle, trim, and so on. So select distance, which is D, press the D option and press the enter key. So specify first chamfer distance. First chamfer distance, let's say I want my first chamfer distance to be 500. I will put in 500 and press the enter key. So specify second chamfer distance. This information is popping at the command prompt here. Second chamfer distance, I want it to be 1000. So this chamfer is not actually going to be equal, but if I want this chamfer to be of equal sizes, then I'll put it 500 and then it will give me. But let's first take a look at the non-equal chamfer system. So press the enter key, you've typed in 1000 and that will be ready. Now you're ready to click the first line and then click the second line. So you see that the chamfer in here is not of equal size. This size is more than the down size. The vertical side is much more than the horizontal side. So how do you know this? Visually, I can see it. I don't know because of the screen size you're not seeing it, but I can see it here. So to clarify let me pick a line tool and do as if I'm creating a line down here, and I'll create another one just down here such that it will intersect. This is just to show you the difference. So let's pick our dimension tool, which is linear, and then we'll dimension from here to this point. This is our second chamfer size. It was 1000, and then let's dimension also the first chamfer size, which is the horizontal one down here from this point to this point is actually the first option. So this is the attributes of that chamfer. So to make the chamfer equal, you would have simply given it 500 by 500 or 1000 by 1000, which could have made it equal. So that's how you create chamfer in AutoCAD. So the next below here is the fillet. The fillet tool is also one powerful tool in AutoCAD that I often use. So to make a fillet, to create a fillet, just select the fillet icon, just click on it and then right click. You see a list of options at the command prompt, but mind you, I'm using the Windows pop-ups most likely. So right click and choose reduce. Use reduce. That will give you the fillet. That will give you an option to enter the reduce just at the command prompt there. So just type 1000, for example. That's going to be the reduce, and press the enter key. So it will then ask you select first object, which you will select the first object. Mind you, you only fillet object that intersect, although you can do objects that don't intersect, but it will still work anyway. But it's always good to handle objects that intersect, just like this. It can be angular, it can be purely horizontal and vertical. So just select the first object, select the second one, and then it gives you the radius. So that's how you can achieve that. And the radius, if you want to modify it, this is dimension. You know, this is 1 meter. This radius is 1 meter. If you modify it now, you can have a different shape. By clicking on it and dragging one of the nodes here. So it's quite handy, but I don't recommend playing with the curves like that, because they are usually dimension. That's why you gave it dimension there of 1000 radius. So that's how you can use the fillet. But you can also use fillet in a manner that will amaze you. By the time you create, you have two lines like this, and then you want this line to have an arc effect. You want this line to have an arc effect at the top. What you will do is pick the fillet tool, right click, choose radius, and make sure the radius is 0 this time, and type in 0 here and press the enter key. By the time you hit here, you hit the next side, then you have a curve like this. So this is a very handy tool that you will use to create so many effects in your AutoCAD. The explode tool. This tool is usually used to explode objects apart. Most objects that are inserted or created using the draw tool, sometimes they are block objects. For example, the rectangular, polygon, cycle, and stuff like that. They are usually block objects. So to explode them apart, you will use the explode tool. So how do you make use of the explode tool? For example, you have a wall. In fact, let's see this as a wall. You have multi-line here which represent our wall. You know, if you mouse over it, you will see that it's been highlighted all together. It's also a block object. So to explode such an object, just click on it and then click on the explode tool, and it instantly takes effect. If you mouse over it now, you will see that it's not highlighting the entire wall, and in fact, if you click, it will not select the entire wall. To just select the component you just clicked. The same thing with rectangular box, which I just created here. If you mouse over it, it's highlighted. Usually they are in block, so if you select and click on explode, they will explode. The only way to verify this is by clicking on it, so that you will see how it has been broken apart. So that's how you make use of explode in AutoCAD. In addition to the distance tool, you have additional tools that are included in it. You can notice the small arrow knob that is below here. Just click and hold at that small arrow below the distance tool. You have a flyout tool. So the next here is actually radius. Just select it. Enables you to know the radius of a cycle. So this particular cycle here, once you click on it, it gives you the radius right here instantly. So that is how you can find the radius. So click again, click and hold, you'll see the angle. You have area, you have angle. You can locate an angle, just click and then click the next one, and then you have the angle will be shown to you. So you can also click, hold, and then get the area. You can begin to click at the angles of that particular portion, and you'll notice a green will be highlighting the area. So once you get to the closed destination, back to the origin here, and then you press the enter key, and the area will be given to you. The area is this value and the parameter is this value. So that's how you can effectively use the inquiry to take the distances, the area, and the radius.